Yeah, like you're ready for the Arctic.
It is the Arctic out there, it's freezing.
It's cold, isn't it? Welcome back, guys. We're in November. I can't believe that we're already in November. I'm going mad thinking about Christmas 24/7. And this month, there are quite a few things that I want to get ticked off the list. I actually do have a physical list. Let me just get that a second. The house is a little bit mad at the moment. You might have noticed behind me that there's a rail in here. That's because it's going to be Black Friday this month, and it's like my busiest work month of the year, which is going to be fun with all the DIY. So hopefully this month we're going to tidy up the garden at the front, so properly level the gravel, because we did spread it all out but it's not properly leveled. And then I want to jack wash everything out the front so that it's just nice and pretty, especially the path. The front door still needs a lot of work. It's one of those jobs that we're just kind of slowly chipping away at. However, I'm thinking today might be the day. Well, Ollie is currently getting on with that, so hopefully we'll get pretty much there to the painting stage today. That absolutely has to be on this month, because what with the Christmas wreath on it, it's all about Christmas. Paint the bin shed. So we're doing the bin shed in the same colour as the front door. Not sure about that. You might be able to hear Ollie starting on the power tools already. I don't know how it's going to look. We had a look at some of the pictures online where we bought it from. We bought it from Amazon, and a few people had said that it didn't last very well. It was quite a nice, expensive bin shed. It didn't last very well when it wasn't protected properly. Cutting a long story short, my parents stain their garden stuff all of the time, and they actually said that staining it doesn't last. You'll have to restain it year after year. So we're going with painting it, and we're going with the same colour as the front door. But if I change that in a month's time, well, don't hold me to it. Can you hear me with Ollie's power tools going? We've also got to change the flooring in the room that the boiler's going in, put up more brackets for this curtain because the curtains are really heavy. We've ordered some more which are going to be dropped to the floor, hopefully, which will arrive before Christmas. Then it's the dining room. So my parents are going away on holiday to Barbados, and they're not taking me, but they are leaving me my four-legged brother, which is just the most exciting thing because he's going to be here when we decorate for Christmas. And I'm really looking forward to that. But the only access that he will have to the garden is the dining room. And currently you can't actually walk through the dining room. He's 14, so a little bit on the fragile side. And he just gives this face. I know that he'll see the dining room and he'll be like, you expect me to walk through here? So that is going to be finished this month. And then the other little project, which I think will probably lead into December, is the temporary bathroom that we're doing on the middle floor, which I told you guys about. It's going to have that sink which I showed you in the last Reno video, and we've just ordered a new shower which arrived. So that's going to be so exciting. Currently here we have an absolute trouble. We've been living with the worst shower ever, and when our boiler is changed, that should change. Now I'm sure you've seen enough of my face, but you're all caught up with our plans. I'll show you what we're doing today. Oh, that's cute. Your underpants match your coat. And your jumper. God, you literally couldn't be more coordinated if you tried, and your trousers. I am actually really impressed. My poor Oliver is suffering from a cold, aren't you? You sniffly bear, that was nice. So this morning we are looking at basically, unfortunately, can I show them?
Yeah.
Our path here. So this little bit here is a little bit raised, and we have made our door so that it's totally flat, as you can see by this bit of board. Is that bit of board straight then?
Yeah.
So it's gapping there, but then it's tight here. Basically we need to make just a little bit of a, well, I don't know what.
Hole.
Oh, for our door. Our door basically is going to have an even bottom, but it will be flat to the path. And you can't particularly tell, but our door is looking pretty beaut now. It's all been filled in. It's feeling really soft. The bit that I'm talking about is this little section down the bottom. As you may know, we had to build this back up because it was rotten. So we've put some oak at the bottom, and obviously this bit here needs to be planed down, but we're not quite sure how much. And then this will all need to be sanded and filled in, so hopefully you don't see that the door has been patched. It just all kind of like runs through beautifully. And these beauties are the things that took us so long to actually do this door, because we were waiting for these to be made. but they're so nice. So this is on the other side of the door because this is the back of our door. They're currently on the front, but I can't show you that because it is so heavy. Hopefully Ollie might turn it around later. And this has been my fun little job. I'm painting the bin shed, which is taking so much longer. This is only about half of it. Just did the back of these last night. Still need to do all of the back of these. The rest of the shed, which is currently down in the dining room. Obviously this is not the colour that we're going for. This is just a primer before I think we'll do 2 coats of top coat. What have you been up to today? I am not feeling very well, so Ollie has been literally tearing apart this room. The floorboards need to come out because this is where the boiler is going to go, and we desperately need to get that done. He's ripped down the plaster here, so we can re-plasterboard, and then we've also got this sealing off, so we're just going to repatch perfectly this bit here for now, and hopefully keep the rest of the ceiling. I'm not quite sure looking at this though. And so that was November and pretty much the majority of December. These 2 months have been a little bit hectic for us because work-wise they are the busiest of the year. Ollie's been working late and we had a few things. We did the front garden, which I haven't shown to not show the outside of our house. And we also did a job which we weren't expecting to do. We had got a builder to quote for the airing cupboard and putting down new floor in that room. And they just never turned up. I don't know whether it's because it's smaller jobs or just the time of the year and they were too busy. But cutting a long story short, Ollie took that on. He did an absolutely amazing job. I was so proud of what he achieved from not having any idea. But obviously because he didn't know what he was doing, it did take a lot longer than perhaps it would take a builder. Of course it would, because he is learning as he was doing it. But he relayed all of the floor in what we call the red room, and then he put up a stud wall for the airing cupboard. I helped him insulate it, and then he put up all of the plasterboard. I'll put up some pictures while I'm talking about this. And then we got a plasterer in to plaster it, and then we painted it for the boiler to go in, which is going in this week. And the reason that I'm filming this, I had really hoped to put the dining room reveal up this week, but I didn't think about the fact that we would have workmen in the house and they're actually being really pretty noisy. And that's right up until Friday, and obviously my videos go up on Friday, so I wouldn't have any time to film it and get it up for you guys by Christmas. So hopefully you don't mind, I'm going to be doing a Q&A instead because so many of you asked some lovely questions. And because Ollie was doing the airing cupboard and I was doing the dining room, I was filming the dining room, and so I didn't get a lot of footage of him doing the airing cupboard and other jobs around the house. So really this kind of month's renovation, we don't have a lot to show on camera for it. Obviously we will in January when we put out the dining room one. So anyway, after all of that, let's finally get into the questions. Okay, I'm going to try and answer as many as possible, so I might answer quite quickly, but if you want any other information on any of the questions, just let me know below, because over Christmas I'm going to go back over all of my comments. I'm sorry I didn't reply to the comments on the last video, but I was panicking to get the dining room finished because I thought I was going to be filming it. So over Christmas I'm going to be replying to all of the lovely comments that you've left. First up, second-hand kitchens. Did your kitchen need to be the same size as the first owners? So I will try and put up a picture of the first owners, what they put up as the ad that we bought it off of. No, not necessarily. The only things that we looked for when we were looking for a second-hand kitchen is that it was solid wood. So ours is pine and oak. And it meant that if it didn't fit exactly, we could literally just saw it down, kind of like piece it together and sand it, which made it really easy. However, I did spend quite a lot of time just looking at the images of the kitchen and thinking about how they were in units. And a few of them we just weren't sure. There's a unit at the moment that we haven't used, a wall unit that we haven't used because we need to cut it down. But I think into the future we will cut it down when we want a little bit more space. So what I would recommend if you are looking for a second-hand kitchen is definitely look for wood, even if it's a little bit more expensive. It is well worth it, but so many people are getting rid of really good quality kitchens. I was so amazed at some of them. The other thing is to have too many units for what you think you might need. We didn't have as many as perhaps I would have liked, but we did have one or two that we could kind of jig around and decide what would work. And the last thing I would say, if you're getting it off of eBay, I would try and contact the seller and see if they will take it down from a bid and accept an offer. That's what we did with ours. It took away a lot of pressure, and it meant that we could go to them and say, look, we want the whole thing, because they had it on separate bids. So they had the kitchen and then the sink on a separate bid and then the tap, and we said, we'll collect it all at once, we'll buy it all at once. Would you take this price, which was $450? They said yes. Obviously it was quite easy for them because they didn't have to arrange lots of different people coming. And we thought that we got a much better price than if it had have gone to bids. What's your opinion on using wallpaper in your home? Yes, no, accent walls only. I like wallpaper. On the other hand, Ollie really dislikes it. I think he sees the future work of it. So perhaps putting up wallpaper and then in time wanting to change your room and having to take it all down and eating it all up and that kind of thing. But I think wallpaper can be really beautiful. I would say go big and do the whole room. I like really pretty, dainty wallpaper. I even love the textured wallpaper that just give the room a little bit of style. I know us, and I feel like we are probably going to be safe and just go for normal painted walls with prints. What one piece of advice would you give to someone taking on a similar renovation project? This is probably very generic, but really don't sweat the small stuff and try not to worry about how it's going to turn out. I remember at the beginning how anxious I was about finding a kitchen and getting a kitchen and if it was going to look okay, if the floors were going to be okay sanded. But it all turns out in the end, it all kind of works its way through. So try to be as relaxed as you can with things. Oh, actually, no, maybe my one piece of advice would be don't put a time scale on anything. Don't tell anybody, oh yeah, we think, because everybody asks, oh, when do you think you might have the kitchen done? When do you think you might have this done? And then it makes you start thinking, when do we think it might be done? And just do it step by step with no dates. How much has your renovation cost you so far, and is there anything you regret? So if I'm really honest, we haven't kept a tally of how much we have spent. With the downstairs, it's been very, very minimal. I've been very pleasantly surprised about how much we have spent. As I said, in the kitchen we spent $450 and that was pretty much it. Oh no, we did buy a dishwasher, so maybe towards $650. The fridge freezer we got secondhand from my mum and dad. The washing machine we actually got secondhand for free. So as far as appliances, we only bought the dishwasher, and obviously we've had the Ray-Ban in, so $650 for the kitchen. The floors in the house were free apart from renting a sander, so that maybe would have been about £60. And I think apart from that, our biggest expense was to do the lime plastering in the front room. Believe that cost us, I think it was around the £1,000 mark. And then we did have some other plastering done, maybe at about the £300 mark. And obviously on top of all of that, like the thing that I think gets you the most is all of the general spending, like a paintbrush or some paint here and there. It's like 100 quid every now and then at Screwfix. But I think really as far as renovations go, like really not a lot. Our bathroom downstairs, second hand, I think cost a few hundred. The laminate flooring we got was like an end of line at this kind of odd place called Trago Mills that does really cheap, well, I don't really know how to explain it. If you know, you know, but they kind of sell loads of random stuff from DIY to pet things. We picked that up there, so not a lot, but I will say that's not how the rest of the renovation is going to go. Obviously the boiler is going to be a big chunk. But I think I've got a few other questions where I'll go more into. I did want to talk slightly about the, I hope it doesn't seem too crass, but I think that money is kind of quite an important part of the renovation. We are doing it quite cheaply, and I think it's something that people don't often talk about, and it's so hard to gauge. We had no idea, having not done a renovation before. Would you recommend buying a house that needs a lot of work? This one is so hard. Personally, yes, definitely. I think if you can get stuck into it and you don't mind doing a little bit of work yourself, Ollie and I kind of believe that property is like one of the, well, it's one of the biggest investments that you can make in life. And if you can make money on that, then, you know, that's huge. Like, we hope in time our property will go up. Fingers crossed it does after all the work that we've done on it. The more work we do ourselves, the more that we're not paying people, the more that goes into our pockets in the future. But having said that, I don't think that buying a house that needs a lot of work and getting somebody in to do it absolutely beautifully is that cost effective anymore. I think you pay for houses really in the area that they're in, not always so much on what the condition they are in. I did get a few of these kind of questions. Are you planning on starting a family soon? Certainly not with the house as it is at the moment. We have got a good few more years of renovating before we even think of starting a family, but we definitely do want a family. I can't wait to have kids, but I'm 27 at the moment, so I know you can't predict. I do totally understand that, but probably more towards our 30s. Hi, hello. What is the style that you are going for in decorating your house? Any inspo pics? I'll put my Pinterest below if I'm honest. I'm not on it all of the time. We're going to be going probably for a very classic style. My style hasn't changed in years. My interior style, I've pinned pins from 5-6 years ago and I still love them. So that is the kind of style that we're going to be going for with the house. I think it suits the house. So radiators, we're going to be going cast iron upstairs, and bathrooms, as you guys kind of know, the top bathroom we're doing in a marble, which I think just is quite classic. Paint wise, we're not that daring. I love a lot of neutrals. I love a really calm and inviting home. But I also love a home, I love properties that I go into and I see lots of interesting things from their personality. I don't want a home that people walk into and they think it looks like a show home. I feel like our living room at the moment, I can't wait to put a little bit of our style and our like personality into some of the prints. Obviously like photos and things from travels, like a really interesting home. Like I want a home where you can go in and people can talk about the objects or the items in it, rather than just like, oh yeah, I bought that here and I bought that here, like, I don't know, or you batch bought it all at once. So hopefully we can add a little bit of our personalities into it. Do you think you're gonna go over budget on your renovations? No, partly because we didn't set a budget. We had no idea, so we didn't set a budget. The main aim for the property to start with, we moved very quickly. If I'm really honest, we didn't sit down when we were looking at the house and think, how much is this going to cost? We looked at the property, it was our dream property in the dream location, and we wouldn't have been able to afford the property if it had been done up. They don't often come up on our street. People have lived there for 30-40 years. The previous owner to us had lived there, I think, 35 years. Both our next door neighbours have lived there, I think on one side 30 years, the other side 10 years, so they rarely come up. So we were just like, let's take this opportunity if we can, and we went for it. And the main aim at that point, we literally didn't even think how much this is going to cost. And I'm definitely not saying that that is a sensible thing to do, but we just knew that we had to get in there and make it livable as cheaply as possible. And so it was a fact of a matter with the downstairs of each month when we had a pay pack come in, just being like, okay, how cheap can we get a kitchen? and that was that. Probably the middle floor, and when we come to do the extension, we will have to budget for a number of reasons, because obviously it's going to cost more than a £400 kitchen. Any advice on buying or renovating? Me and my boyfriend are in two minds, please help. Ooh, yeah, I guess there's two sides of this. I think that, as I mentioned earlier, if you can renovate, you are hopefully going to get that money back in the future. And also on another side of that, if you like your personal style and you know what you want with your style, I kind of felt like this. I love the idea of being able to have exactly the bathroom I've picked, exactly the bedroom I picked, the layout that I've picked, which unless you can find the perfect home for you, you probably won't get buying something that you're not going to renovate. So there's that side, but I would definitely say think very carefully about the jobs that you have and what you want to do over the next few years, because it is very, very, very time consuming. I'd say this year it's taken up it's taken up pretty much every single weekend that we've had. It's been long, it's been tiring, but we kind of felt like, you know what, for our dream property in the way that we want it, it is well worth right now in the time that we are in our lives, putting that work in. Did you pull out the cupboard on the top floor guest room, which you were thinking of leaving? Yes, we did, because Ollie had to change the flooring, so we couldn't get the flooring under it, so that did come out. Did you order the windows, and if so, when are they gonna be put in? Yes, we have ordered the windows. To be honest, they should have been made by now. So we've been quite like laps on chasing them, to be honest, because we are in no rush for it to go in at the moment because we're not pushing the upstairs. So definitely January. Has the whole process put a strain on your relationship? I've heard a lot of couples hating each other. I did have a few on this, on how it's affected, or if it has affected our relationship. And I spoke to Ollie, I asked Ollie on this one because I was interested to see what he said, and we totally agreed. We actually think that it's made us a lot stronger as a couple. I think for a few things. It was our first home that we bought together, so there's like loads of sentimental feelings on that. It's also kind of our dream home, so making it into something that we love has been a really nice process to do with each other, because when we're putting things in, we're thinking like, oh, for example, like last year I couldn't wait until Christmas, and all of the hard work that we put in, like I got so emotional. I actually cried around when we were putting the Christmas tree up, which I don't think I would have done in another home, because I could remember, I'm gonna get emotional about it now, I don't know why I'm so emotional, but us working so hard in that room, sanding the floors and working together, but with music playing and enjoying it. And it's so sweet. I know so many of you said, especially at the beginning of the renovations, on how we're gonna look back, and I think at that point I was like, oh, you were all so right, like, because I can just about now see that we're looking back, but I have so many fond memories of it. Obviously, it does put a strain on certain aspects of your relationship. Ollie and I used to travel all of the time, and we haven't been on holiday. I mean, we used to go on holiday, I think, like at least 4 times a year to somewhere, and we've not been for the last like 2 years. And then we obviously we don't often go for dinner dates and to the cinema because we don't have the time. But there is something so much sweeter about building a home together and knowing that you're both working so hard and putting in so much time and effort and love into something that is both yours, that hopefully you're gonna have for a long time. Has the horrible nicotine smell left yet? Does it smell like your home now? Well, just wait until you see the dining room reveal, because that was by far the first room for nicotine. Actually, the middle floor and the top floor, there was barely any nicotine, but the dining room, yeah, it's pretty special. But obviously now it has gone, and it definitely feels and smells like our home. However, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely is still a bit of a building site, and you can smell that. Did you see an architect to make the plans for the house? No, because really there wasn't anything that we've done so far that has been structural, but the new year, that is something that we are planning on doing. When we come down to the middle floor, we are planning on knocking down a few walls, and then we want to know for the future what we're doing on the downstairs, because it might change what we do for the middle floor a little bit. How did you pick this house? So I guess it maybe might be quite a bit different to what some people would, because we relocated. We were living on the other side of London, and we drive back on a Friday night. I think we only did it for 2 weekends though. So it would take about 4.5 hours from the other side of London on a Friday night, because traffic is bad, to the southwest where we were looking to buy. And we wanted to buy quite quickly. I think we started looking in November, and we wanted to be in by the new year, so quite quick. And so we would set up viewings for the Saturday, and we saw quite a lot of properties in that time, but we looked at different price ranges and just like different styles. To be honest, I say different styles, but we pretty much just looked at Victorian houses because that's what we both love, or something with just a little bit of character. And our property wasn't on the list because it was over budget, and I don't know if it was Ollie or I that saw the property, but we definitely started like creeping up and just looking on Rightmove and seeing what there was. We saw this property. It was Saturday night when we saw it. We were desperate to see it because we thought, gosh, this is in an amazing location. It's gonna go quick. If we go back to London and then we set up a viewing for the other week, we might not view it. So we actually wrote a letter to the house, to the person in the house, and just said, look, we know this isn't like the thing that is done, but we really would love to view your property. We explained the situation and whether we could perhaps see it on the Sunday. And we left our telephone number on there, And I remember feeling so nervous because at that point I feel like we had opened up the doors of the house, and I loved it. I was totally all in by that point. As soon as I'd seen it, I was like, this is the house that I really want, but would it ever be possible? And then probably only about half an hour later, we did actually knock on the door just to let you know, but there was no answer, so we put the note through. And about half an hour later we got a call, and it was the person who previously lived in the house, and they said, absolutely fine, come and view it when you're available. They were really lovely. So we went and we viewed it with the homeowner, which I know so many people say not to do, but it was lovely. So obviously, of course, we viewed it and we were like, yeah, we love it, we want it. And then we went back to London and decided on the price that we would like, and they very kindly accepted it. So I think, I don't like to say it, but I think it made a difference that we had that interaction with the owner, because it was a she, and she was very connected to the house. We could see that it had been a really happy family home, and I think she liked the idea that we were buying it, and for not as a project, basically. How did you meet? Have you enjoyed renovating, and would you do it again? We met at university. We both went to Loughborough University. Absolutely loved renovating, and I would do it again, but I don't know if we would ever do it as much ourselves again. But that's partly because, as I was saying earlier, like the timescales of things. Are you spending Christmas with family or in your own home? We will be spending it with family. I would love to have it in our house, but it is not geared up for it yet. At Christmas we have like family stay over so that we can all drink, that kind of thing, and there just aren't the bathrooms or bedrooms at the moment at ours. What are the ideal main floor plans for the future? Open concept, yes, absolutely. I can't wait to knock down so many walls, really brighten it all up. From the living room to the dining room, we want to push through that wall, and then the kitchen, bathroom, and what we've got as a bedroom right now, they will all be knocked down and hopefully extended even further. Neighbours on one side have extended further, so we'd like to extend out a bit more, and perhaps to the side if we are able to. So yes. I'd also like to include a laundry room and a toilet and loads of cupboard spaces. I'd like 4 or 5 long tall cupboards for like coats and shoes. Don't quite know how we're going to fit all of that in, but that's the job that we'll be giving to an architect. Have you started renting the back part of the house? Yes, almost immediately after putting up the video, it was rented out. I don't know if we've just been lucky, but it's been really easy. We were so pleasantly surprised by how it's gone, and if any of you were thinking of renovating and you were able to do the same thing, highly recommend. But I know that our property, it's quite self-contained down the bottom there, so it does make it easy. If you were to do it all over again, would you do more or less DIY? This is one of the things that Ollie and I talk about all the time. Would we do anything differently? What would we do? And the answer has always been, we couldn't do anything differently, because what we've done so far has been the cheapest option that we could do. So downstairs, we couldn't have chosen different flooring because we couldn't afford different flooring. Could we have done anything different with the kitchen? No, not really. I think we got the best option that we could, kind of layout wise. The living room we absolutely love. So there aren't that many things at the moment. Maybe when we start choosing higher price point things, we might think that we would have chosen different options. But at the moment, because it's been the cheapest option, there really wouldn't have been any other option for us, and we couldn't have done less DIY because we couldn't afford to get anybody in to do the DIY for us. And I guess I've been more on the happier side that we've done the DIY, because it's turned out better than, to be honest, it has turned out better than I expected. I definitely thought that we'd bodge a few jobs, but I don't feel like as of yet any of them have. What is the next project on your house? Well, I guess ones that we've already started is the upstairs. But I guess the one that I'm most excited about for the new year would be the master bedroom and what we're going to be doing with that, because I think that will be the first time that we kind of feel like we're properly living in the house. But the top floor will be done. We'll have 2 nice bedrooms. We're doing that all really properly. It will be replastered. All of the new piping has gone up there for the radiators and the bathroom, new electrics, all of that kind of thing. So the top floor will be the first part that is going to be done, not in a temporary way, and we are really excited about that. Would you redo another house and make it a career? I don't think that we will move from this house for a very long time. if we ever got the opportunity to do a flat or something, then yes, definitely. I love it. What's been the hardest thing about renovating yourselves? No time, just the time that it consumes. It consumes a huge amount of time, and constantly, like, we've had a constant feeling of not feeling on top of things this year, and I'm usually quite organised. I'm really feeling it with Christmas. I'm usually not like really organised with buying presents, but it's what date is it today? The 19th of December, and I haven't got all of my Christmas presents yet. So I guess it's just like the impact of the time, which I guess makes it a little bit more stressful. Budget. How do you decide what to splurge on and what to do more cheaply? So far we haven't splurged on much, but I think moving forward it's going to be the things which are more the bones of the property. So the boiler, the windows, the flooring. We feel like good flooring is really important. And I'd say go a little bit cheaper on all of your interiors. I remember people asking us like, oh, how are you going to furnish the house? And Ollie and I were like, totally fine. We would just get things secondhand or for free, as long as we got the beautiful bones. We're not worried about the kind of more luxury things inside. And then also I think it's about prioritizing the rooms and how they're going to be used. So for example, in the upstairs bathroom, we're not putting underfloor heating in because we don't think it's a bathroom that's going to be used as often, whereas the main family bathroom, we're going to put underfloor heating in. How did you learn all of the skills required for the renovation, i.e. the wood slithers and the floor? Research, so much research, hours and hours. When it was easier when Ollie was living in London Monday to Friday, I would spend every single evening on the laptop for hours either looking for secondhand stuff or just researching how we were going to do things. And then usually when I'd found something that either like I thought was good or I thought it was perhaps the way to go, I would then tell Ollie about it and he'd research it even further on the renovating side. So we would split the job so that I would do like the more background work and then he would look into it a little bit further on perhaps what we would use. But it's just funny how you come across things. Sorry, my battery just died, but I think what I was about to say is I was researching on how to paint kitchens, wooden kitchens. I came across a YouTube channel with a chap who was painting just amazing kitchens. And he gave away all of the things that he was using. The sandpaper, which has been one of the best sandpapers that we have had for all of the renovation. And I would never believe that I would say that, but this sandpaper is amazing. All of his paintbrushes and also the paint. And then I think he mentioned the people who he got the paint off of, which was Holman's Paints. And that's just ended up to be the people that we call all of the time to ask about paints. Did you think that it would take that much time to renovate? Yes, we did. For the house, we had it was a 5 to 10 year plan on renovating the house. Although we thought we kind of like knew the long-term plan, every job takes so much longer than we thought it would. So even the dining room or the airing cupboard, we were like, yeah, this will take so long. We cannot predict how long things would take because they do take longer. But I think the general years, I think that will be about right. Do you get decision fatigue or is your vision so clear that you just go for it? At the moment, because of the doing things so cheaply and just because I think one of the hardest things is when you actually have more money and then you get all of the choices of lots of different things. But we didn't have the choice partly because of the budget, so that made things easier. But it's a lot, it's still hard. And also our renovation is taking quite a long time. I've said to Ollie so many times, I just don't know how people do it when they do it in 4 months. And I guess they've got builders in to do the work, so that's taken away from them. But all of the decisions that have to be made in that time must be insane because it takes longer. I love the fact that we're able to kind of think things through and mull things through for a little bit longer. And to be honest, kind of take it at our own pace. Quite a few along this kind of line as well. Are you funding the reno yourself or through a mortgage? We are funding it ourselves. I've explained before that the reason that we're doing it the way that we're doing is because we had not a penny left after getting the mortgage for the house and going through all of that, and we had zero for the renovation. And so everything that we did downstairs was literally done month by month. And then obviously we rented out the room downstairs, and that is how we plan to renovate. The rest of the house a little bit quicker, and obviously with getting more trade in, we haven't haven't gotten quotes or anything to do the extension yet, but I don't think we'll be able to save that money very quickly. So we may have to think about remortgaging or a loan at that point, but if I'm really honest, we have not at all looked into that. Maybe you guys can give some advice for people that are thinking about it right now, or to us for the future, because it's just not something that we've looked into right now. But yeah, as far as right now, we are just doing it ourselves month by month, either by our like monthly pay pack or from renting out our room. At what stage did you finalise the position of the appliances for your kitchen? We didn't really. I mean, we had to just go for things that would fit with the second-hand kitchen, and a lot of the things that went in, the dishwasher went in very close to where the previous dishwasher was. The fridge freezer went in just a little bit above where the old one was, so we had plug points and stuff for it. So pretty much layout wise, we didn't get a huge amount of choice. We did have a lot of people say, oh, why wouldn't you put this here, or why wouldn't you do that? But it's quite a like small contained kitchen, so it's no trouble to like turn your back and walk 2 steps and put the plates away and that kind of thing. What's been your biggest challenge this year in regards to reno? I'm not sure if I've already answered this one a bit, but what would it be? You know what, I actually think it would have to be finding trades, getting people in, getting people that are reliable. We have found extremely hard. I must have contacted 10 plus builders and still not found one that would be reliable at a good price and turn up on time. We've got an amazing plasterer. We actually genuinely have love for him because he is so great. Communication is perfect. He's at a good price. We just feel very, very thankful to have him. We also have a really good electrician, and seems like the boiler guys and the plumbers that we have found have been really good too. But builder, that has been near impossible, I think, because they want all of the big projects rather than our smaller, I guess, a little bit more bitty jobs. Are you enjoying the journey? Yes, and I think I can speak for Ollie on this one too. We so love it. I think there is so much pride in doing a renovation. It's been lovely because I think it's brought us closer to our families too. We've learned new skills. Ollie and I love challenging ourselves. It's always been in our personalities, so in that respect, I think it kind of like feeds our souls, and also it's just such a talking point. I think so many people are interested in it, and obviously we've built this amazing community online, which we absolutely love, but I've also had people friendship wise who have been really interested in it, and people who I've met kind of off of Instagram, and I think so many people love their homes, and it's an amazing thing to bring people together. And I think I will stop there because I feel like, yes, I have been nattering on for quite a while, and I think I've answered most of the questions, especially the ones that were asked a few times. If you didn't feel like it was answered though, or if you didn't know that I was doing it on Instagram, which I will put here, then ask me down in the comment section below, because as I said, over the Christmas period, I'm just going to be sat on my laptop, hopefully relaxing and chatting to some of you guys. And on the note of Christmas, I hope you all have a really amazing Christmas no matter what you're doing, whether you're renovating, working, or just having a really relaxing time. We are hoping to have at least 2 days totally off to relax and eat and enjoy with the family. And I hope you all have a really wonderful one and a really happy new year, and I will see you all in the new year. Oh, but actually I may, if they've gone early on Friday, I may show you what has been happening with the boiler.